What's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Quarantine Combos. And this is an interesting one. This is something that I don't think about a whole lot. But when it's asked and when it's brought up in conversation, it's something that I do like talking about because I think it's super valuable. And that is how to build connections and network within bodybuilding, the bodybuilding industry. The fitness industry as a whole is very broad, right? There's a lot of different niches within that general bubble that is the fitness community, right? So, the fitness community itself can include bodybuilding, obviously, but then you have many other avenues of like physical activity, like sports. You have CrossFit training, you have strongman, powerlifting, you have like the whole nutrition side of things, you have the mobility people, you have the movement people. Like there's numerous other subsets inside the fitness community itself. So what I'm going to be talking about is bodybuilding itself, because this is the bubble of the fitness community. We're down here. We're the small little bubble over in the corner. I think it takes a very, very special kind of person to be really in love with bodybuilding. And I don't mean like that we're better than anybody else, but it's just a way of kind of carrying your life and a mindset that you have and an attitude you have towards your lifestyle and towards training that can make it challenging to get along with other people that don't get it, right? We say all the time it's super challenging to be normal with other people because we don't necessarily live a normal lifestyle, right? So I want to talk about that because actually one of my clients had asked about this in a question box on Instagram the other day, and I saved it because I want to talk about it. So the first thing that I want to touch on when it comes to like networking within bodybuilding and making friends and making acquaintances and stuff is just to be out there, to be public. It's super easy now to be out there with social media, but it's also challenging because there's so many people trying to do the same thing. So it can be hard, and you can find that you might be getting lost in the shuffle. And I still feel that way, and people look at me like I'm doing well for myself. And don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of where I am, but in the grand scheme of things, like from a follower standpoint or a number of clients and that kind of stuff, like I'm still a very, very small fish in this big pond. But be out there, post your progress, document your journey, share your story. Like I mentioned with social media, like we have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like multiple streams that you can, share your journey, but also different ways you can share it, right? On YouTube, you have like long form video that you can do, chats like this or vlogs or whatever. Instagram, more kind of photo and short video driven. Facebook is different as well, right? So you have different ways that you can share your message and talk about your journey as a whole. Once you're out there, then start engaging with your audience, right? As you start developing followers and people that may be interested in what you're doing and asking you questions and all this stuff, do not ignore anybody, right? I do my best to answer every comment or every question as best as I can, and sometimes it's just a simple like thumbs up emoji or a like the comment or whatever. Sometimes it's a little bit longer answer if I have more time or if I can provide a little bit more value than just a simple like quick reply. But just be out there and engage with the people that are interested in you, because there's this old saying that like 1,000 true fans. You don't need 1 million followers, but if you can get 1,000 core people to really care about you and enjoy what you're putting out there and all this stuff, like you can then create a business from that, but you can also just start to network and make some really close connections and close friends. I have people that I've met through bodybuilding through social media that I would consider pretty close friends. We talk quite regularly, and I've never met them, but we've had conversations through social media. We've had voice chats, video chats, obviously commenting back and forth on each other's posts and that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have met these people if I wasn't out there and putting myself out there and documenting my journey. So I encourage you to do the same thing. It can be challenging, right? If you're camera shy or if you don't feel like you have anything of value to put out there, but I promise you that stuff does not matter. What matters is you being out there and providing that that story. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to tell our story, right? And we're all doing it through bodybuilding, through our bodybuilding journeys. Some of us are just new to this stage, and we're, like the client that asked this question, he's new, competing for the first time. Someone like myself who's trying to take it to the next level and turn pro, but we're still both really trying to do the same thing, and that's tell our story and document our journey. So that would be the first thing, is to just be out there and not be afraid to put your face out there. Second thing is to network, right? That's the next step. So, first things first, get out there, have your face out there for people to see, people to recognize, people to now start to learn about you and that kind of stuff. But then network, right? So when you see people that you follow, that you enjoy what they're putting out there, and you've become a fan of them and maybe want to get to know them a little bit more, start to, comment on their posts, right? And don't just, I hate when people do this, this is like the old way of networking on Instagram, is like just the generic comment on everybody's posts, like looking good, good job, nice work, like that kind of stuff. Like don't do that. It doesn't work. Like, people see through that nowadays, but it's also not what we're trying to do, right? Just giving like a generic comment and that kind of stuff, like that's not giving anybody any value. That's not showing your personality, and that doesn't show me. Like, if someone comments on my thing, good job, like it doesn't show me that they want to actually have a relationship. But if someone comments like, hey man, been following you, looking good, or hey dude, like I see you're 20 weeks out, like awesome, that kind of stuff, that for me, if I see that, I'm like, oh, like this person actually cares, like what are they all about? And then, I'll return the comment back, maybe give them a follow and that kind of stuff, and then you just start to kind of network from there. So yeah, when it comes to that kind of thing, comment on people's posts, follow them, of course, that kind of stuff. Send them a DM, say, hey man, I've been following you for a while, or I just came across your page, you seem to be doing good, all that kind of stuff. And then it just starts from there, right? It starts with just a simple message, a simple conversation, and then, things snowball. Another one that's been huge for me, and this is something that I think a lot of people can get value out of, is having a podcast, right? You guys know I post these podcasts on my YouTube channel, and it's just literally started with me just wanting to talk to people within the industry. And because around me, especially in natural bodybuilding, it's not huge, it's not very popular, not a lot of people take it the way that I do, and I wanted to find other like-minded people that I could talk about it with, and people that I could just like shoot the shit with and kind of just become friends with. And now it's snowballed. We're almost 100 episodes in of me just messaging people and saying like, hey, if you want to come on the podcast, I'd love to chat with you sometime. And it starts with a casual conversation about how they got into the sport and all that kind of stuff. And then, we grow into just having good old fashioned conversation. And a lot of the people that I've had on the podcast now have come on multiple times, but now we do message back and forth on a semi-regular basis. And there's people all over the world now that I can consider potential friends and people that I would love to link up with. Like if I was to travel to the UK, there's a probably 10 guys that I would message and be like, hey man, can we link up? Like, I'd love to get a workout in. I'd love to hang out with you sometime. Same within the States. There's a bunch of guys down there I'd love to chat with and see in person. And that would have never happened had I had not had this podcast and sent the message of, hey, want to chat? So the biggest thing, guys, is not being afraid to message somebody. In bodybuilding, it's very much kind of like a brotherhood or sisterhood or personhood, whatever you want to call it. Everybody just, for the most part, wants to see everybody else do well and have fun with it. And especially if you genuinely enjoy it and you care about the sport and you want to excel at it and do well, then you're going to attract those people, and those people are going to be able to see that, and then you can build your network even more. So just getting out there and networking, not being afraid to reach out to people and have a conversation and go from there. The last part I want to talk about is being yourself. I think this is something really important because a lot of people try to be something they're not on social media and in life in general, right? A lot of us are wearing masks and maybe hiding our true feelings, our true identities, and that kind of stuff. And I think that in order to really build connections with people and have good relationships, whether it be like local in person or through this kind of means, or just DMing people on Instagram, is just be yourself, be honest, be true to you. You know, if you're shallow and you're trying to put up a front and seem like, you know, you're cooler than you are, or you're more popular than you are, or whatever you're trying to be, people are gonna see through that, and it's gonna crumble eventually. Well, if it's not right away, it will go eventually, because people will see through that, and it's just not a good way to try to build, you know, meaningful relationships, right, and meaningful connections. So, you know, for me, when I talk about like natural bodybuilding and bodybuilding in general and my thoughts and feelings towards it and all that kind of stuff, like, it's genuinely me. It's what I care about, it's what I love, it's what I'm passionate about. So for me to talk about that and to talk to other people about that, it's not hard, right? And I think it's very evident very quickly my genuine love and passion for it, right? So I don't think there's an issue of people seeing that, because it's who I am, right? But if I was to try to talk to people about literally anything else, like if I was to message people about sports or about, you know, whatever it is, and it's not me, people are gonna know, and they're gonna see through that, and it's not gonna work, right? I'm not gonna have those good quality connections and that solid relationship and that foundation to build off of and grow into something better, right? So just be you, right? Don't try to hide. Don't try to be something you're not. Don't try to please other people by being something you're not. Just be you. Be unapologetically you, and you will attract people that would come to you, right? If there's people that, you know, wouldn't like you regardless of who you are or what you are or what you aren't, then those people aren't going to stay. But if the people that genuinely care about you and want to see you do well and have genuine interest in what you could bring to them and what they could bring to you, then those are the connections that you're going to build, and those are the connections that you're going to want to build anyways. So yeah, that would be a definite make sure you're yourself. So yeah, just to recap, guys, you know, be out there, you know, start posting, start documenting. I know it can feel overwhelming at times because everybody's doing it and there just seems to be no shortage of information and no shortage of people in the same shoes as you, but you are one person and you can only tell your story, and no one can tell your story like you can, and no one's gonna have the same story as you. So there's no reason why you can't build a good following, a good network, and a good group of people that actually want to see what you're up to. After that, obviously, is to network and reach out to other people, comment, you know, send messages, and be genuine with those. Don't be shallow, and just be you, right? Be yourself. Share your story. Like I said, you're the only one that can share your story, and tell it how it's supposed to be told, because it's your life, it's your journey. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, you know, talking about how to build connections within bodybuilding, within the fitness industry, and that kind of stuff. And hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.